Right, we've got the tactics board out here, the red and white. So obviously, I think everybody might be able to draw some conclusions. It's Liverpool against Spurs in the Champions League final. We want to talk a little bit about if Harry Kane plays, are Spurs a little bit diminished if he's not fully fit? Do they take a risk? What do you think is going to happen with that first?
See, only Pochettino will know from watching him training whether he's going to be fit enough to play. He'll be able to tell, watching him, whether he has got to the levels he's capable of playing at, or what the levels he needs him to be at for this game. For me, if he hasn't played, he hasn't kicked the ball and he's only getting back fit, I think having Harry Kane on the bench could be an unbelievable weapon to throw on against Liverpool, regardless of the situation. Like, honestly, I trust Harry Kane so much anywhere in the pitch that if they were winning the game, I'd put him on to see it out. If they were losing the game, I'd put him on to try and get you a winner. I think he's that good a player and that committed to Tottenham that him knowing he was going to have 30 to 40 minutes in this match, he would give you everything to try and make Tottenham succeed. So in that sense, having him on the bench might be the best, because he might not. If you put him on, you have to take him off after 40 minutes or half an hour. That's going to completely change your outlook, and the manager has to change his tactics for the game. In saying that, Son and Moura have stepped up so much in these games. Moura with the hat-trick was like, they gave him 10 out of 10 in papers. It was just a sublime performance, all out mastermind from him. And then Son in the Man City game has come up trumps as well. So I think it's going to be very difficult for them not to play those two if Kane isn't fully fit. But it's a predicament, and it's something that only the manager can tell, but Pochettino will know him well enough to see if he is fit enough.
Sometimes they can look like a more cohesive team without Harry Kane. Yeah. What's that about? How does that come about?
When you have someone like him on the pitch, everybody is probably drawn to the fact that we should get him the ball straight away, and missing out probably another option that might be on. I'm not saying this happens. Harry Kane is so successful at Tottenham and he does so well for them that they probably are picking the right option by finding him.
Yeah.
But if you're drawn to playing to him all the time and missing something out that might be there, then as a team you're focusing on one player instead of trusting yourself as a team. And that's the thing they spoke about. They said that Tottenham have learned to play without him. They've trusted themselves without him as a team, that they're good enough to go on and win big games. And that was a huge milestone and a stepping stone for Tottenham as a club and as a team to feel like they could do that.
Yeah. I would be tempted to take, I'd ring PSG and go, here, we'll swap you Harry Kane for Mbappe. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Who says no?
Yeah, who would say no? Yeah, no, I don't know. Team in the world wouldn't take Harry Kane, but I think he is integral to how Tottenham will move forward in the coming years.
How do Spurs attack Virgil Van Dijk?
Yeah.
And let's assume it's Matip.
The way I was talking about earlier, saying that basically because the Liverpool fullbacks are so influential, they play such a high game. The difference is with these fullbacks is that Robertson particularly has got the energy and the capability to get up and down the pitch. But if you are going to expose them, it's the spaces down the side that you have to try and get out. And it's realistically, it's not going to be Van Dijk's side, it's going to be Matip's side, because Van Dijk, I was also saying that as a fullback, when you play with a centre-back that good, you feel so confident going forward. You feel like he can do everything. You know that he's not going to go out there too early and expose the middle of the pitch. He times it to perfection on almost every occasion. He waits and he waits and he waits, and then he'll go out and give the other fullback time to get back in. So he is pivotal to how good these have been, and these have been absolutely phenomenal all season. Their delivery, they're going forward. But Tottenham, to expose it, will have to, because they play so high up, and this is the side I'll be trying to expose, because defensively I think Alexander Arnold is not as good as Robertson. Robertson is a bit more tenacious, a bit more bite about him, and offers a bit more steeliness in that sense. I think Trent Alexander has been excellent, absolutely amazing, and is delivering to the ball, but he's the one I would be targeting out the back four and that side to try and get into space and occupy.
So is that like Christian Eriksen dropping into little pockets and tempting to come out of position, and then... Exactly.
Eriksen, I'll bring Eriksen forward, Eriksen in here, and Son is the one who you'd be thinking will be peeling off the shoulder, because Son is he's such a balanced player, both left foot, right foot. Him pulling into this channel and getting into the boxes creates it. When you have someone like him running into the box at you, it's very hard to mark him or tackle him. So if he can get into positions here where he can get into the box and get at the Liverpool defence, that will create it. And if you've got someone like Eriksen, tactics board gone,
sent off.
Eriksen that can pick the passes. That's what Tottenham are going to try and do.
Okay, and does it work? Why does it not work more often if it's?
It does work, but you're obviously Tottenham don't play against Liverpool every week. And that's the thing, and not every team has the capability to cause Liverpool problems. I think Tottenham do, and I think on the day Tottenham are capable of beating anybody. So, and Liverpool will have more to worry about playing against Tottenham. Liverpool play against Man City and Tottenham, they probably have more to worry about than they do playing against the other teams. They know that if they're playing against Chelsea, we eliminate Hazard and we're going to nullify most of the threat. They play against Arsenal. If Van Dijk can take up Aubameyang, he's up against him already. So that's Arsenal's biggest threat's gone. That goes on for most teams. So Tottenham are slightly different in the sense that they've got a few more players that they can cause problems with, and hopefully they can.
So do you don't man mark Eriksen, but like one of the midfielders is detailed to make sure that
what Liverpool do have though in Arsenal is that someone like Henderson or Milner who are dogged and will stick to the task and will operate this position very well and will cover and give the centre backs protection, and that will cause Eriksen issues. But he is very good at picking up positions in between the back four and the midfield, and his vision, sometimes first time balls around the corner, just dropping off the shoulder, is excellent. So it makes for an absolutely fascinating contest. But I do think that these guys here, the fullbacks, are could dictate the game. I think they really could.
Because if they're free to be aggressive and marauding, they're going to create chances. We know that their assists are off the charts this year.
The problem is with Tottenham are going to be worried about these two. So them wanting to commit players into these spaces are going to be based on the fact that, okay, we do it, but we don't want these to be going forward, because if these get into these positions, if Alexander-Arnold and Robertson get into these positions up here, and then you have what has made these two, so Van Dijk operating, covering the space is what gives you as a fullback the freedom to go forward and feel confident to go forward, knowing that your centre back's got you covered and you've got a midfielder that will drop in. The other thing that helps these is that they also have someone like Salah, who's a left-footed winger who always wants to go inside. So that drags the fullback in. So as you're a fullback marking Salah, you have him, and then that split change where he has to change over, that communication between these two isn't good enough. If the centre back doesn't release his fullback quick enough, that these get mixed up, he gets the space and he gets the cross in, and you see it happens all the time, because the fullback wants to release him but he can't until the centre back takes him. If the centre back has been occupied with someone else, or his eye has been taken, that's when it causes an issue. But him being a left-footed winger coming inside creates space for Arnold, and then they have exactly the same on the opposite side. They have Mane, who is a right-footed winger who wants to come in here, and he drags the fullback again, popping off the board. But he creates a position for the fullback to get forward, and this has been so important to how Liverpool play. The other thing that they do is when the fullback is here, Mane will be in at the back post, so he won't just have Salah will be nipping into the near post, and they'll also have Firmino trying to get down the middle. So they get three people in the box, and they generally have someone ringing it as well. So this is difficult for any team to work against, because the quality coming from these two fullbacks is so good. The desire to get in the box from their front three is amazing, especially from the two wider players. They will dart into that space and get across the line of defenders, cause problems, drop off, smart runs. And as a back four, it's very difficult to deal with. But this is something Tottenham are going to be worried about, and that could impact how they push their players forward as well.
So they won't push their players forward?
They'll have to. They'll have to, but it has to be done in time and in the right time. And Pochettino is going to say to them, listen, the first few minutes of the game, I don't think he's going to want to do what they did against Ajax. He's not going to want to go into the match and give them too much respect, because Ajax walked all over them. And if they do that again, then they'll be out of the game before it's even finished. They won't have a second game to come back to. Yeah. They have to treat them with respect, but they have to cause them problems as well.
Who on the Spurs side? I actually had two questions about when the centre back, when the fullback releases to the centre back. Yeah. Is that communicated? Is that a look? Is it a shout?
It might be a point or communication, but it has to come from the centre back, because the fullback, as you're dropping in with him, you're staying with your man, but you're also looking at the person that's coming down the line. And if your winger hasn't tracked him, which sometimes is not the case, especially if you're playing front three, your winger hasn't tracked him, the fullback's going to be on. So you're waiting to go, but you can't let this man go, because he's a danger. So as soon as you get the shout, then you can shout, or because if you turn your head, it's a split second. If you get the shout, go on, go Kells, go. You sprint out then to close down that man and try and stop the fullback getting the cross in, knowing that the centre back is taking him. And it's all about communication.
What happens if Craven Cottage is completely full and the atmosphere is feverish? Can you hear it?
You always hear it. You always hear it. I think like I wouldn't be the loudest person in the world, but you'd still hear me on the pitch because I know in that moment I have to make myself heard. You have to be able to hear each other. You have to be able to, whatever it be, something. Like some players would be foreign, they might not speak that, but they'd shout at something, so they'd give you, some sort of communication.
You worked out before.
You worked out beforehand, yeah. But this is going to be so important to them because the fullbacks for Liverpool, and it's been said throughout the whole season, but they've been so dominant in so many areas when it comes to going forward, crossing the ball, breaking down play, but it's going to be difficult for them.
So the Spurs centre backs and whoever this midfielder, they all have to make sure that they're constantly pushing forward and going, no, we're not inviting them on.
They have to keep them up the pitch. Obviously, you're going to be worried about the pace of Salah and Mane behind you. You don't want to be inviting too much space too early on, but you got to get them up the pitch. You don't want to be inviting Liverpool to be in this half of the pitch the whole time and creating runs and having people running off you, little pockets of space. It's not what they want. What Liverpool lack in the creativity in the midfield. They don't have an Eriksen in midfield, so they don't have that person in the middle of the pitch that's going to pick the passes. Most of the good work they have is from the wings, and they do it extremely well.
Do the 2 league games count now? Do they matter?
No, I don't. I think both managers will watch those league games over and over again to try and find some sort of tactic or some sort of way of playing against the team, but this is a one-off Champions League final. Like the semi-final's gone, like the Barcelona game for Liverpool would have counted how many times they played Barcelona before the game? No, it didn't make a difference. Tottenham against Ajax would have counted? No. That these things are one-off, and you got to realise that you don't want to be out of it too soon. So that's what Tottenham can't be out of this game too soon. They can't just sit back and allow Liverpool to get at them. They have to offer a threat. They have to be counter-punching at some point.
Yeah, although at the same time, if it goes 2-0 to Spurs in the first 25 minutes, I don't feel this game's over.
No, I don't feel no.
If it went 2-0 to Liverpool, I would kind of feel like the game is over.
Well, I would have, but the way this Champions League has gone, I just think this Champions League it's been the best I've seen. I don't think I've seen a Champions League to have so many twists and turns and ups and downs, and like going back to, I was covering a lot of the games, to go back to Ronaldo scoring a hat-trick against Atletico Madrid, one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. And you think, how this is not going to happen. Juve are out, definitely. And then Ronaldo scores a hat-trick. You're going, what more can this guy do? And then from then, it's just kicked on. Like the comebacks, the goals, the standard of play. It's been absolutely breathtaking to watch. And, anybody that has watched football this season has probably been more captivated by this than they ever have been.